How are we doing, guys? And welcome back to 𝐅𝐎𝐎𝐍𝐷. This is a reaction video to the Leeds United signing of Tyler Adams from RB Leipzig on a 5-year deal for a fee that's rumoured to be around £20 million. I'm happy with this signing, absolutely, and there's going to be several reasons why, and I'm going to go through it on this video. So first and foremost, let's go to the Leeds United statement released on the website. Leeds United are pleased to announce the signing of USA international Tyler Adams from German Bundesliga side RB Leipzig. The 23-year-old joins for an undisclosed fee and has penned a 5-year deal at Ellen Road, running until the summer of 2027. Adams began his career with New York Red Bulls and was handed his MLS debut by then head coach Jesse Marsch in April 2016 against the San Jose Earthquakes. Again, just from that statement alone, the last two sentences of that statement is what really infuses me about this signing. Interesting word that I don't know. I never planned to use that word. I just decided to use it. The fact he's worked under Jesse Marsch twice before, he's used to Jesse Marsch's system. That has been part of the criticism. If maybe some people are a bit more critical of Jesse Marsch, again, I'm not having to go with these people. I'm just saying that the two sides of the Jesse Marsch debate, the fact that his new style of play, how other players adapting to it, the more negative side of it are kind of saying that a lot of players haven't adapted to it so far. Rafinha, etc., Calvin before he left, all these different players in that lot. But Tyler Adams has played in the system twice before, and he's played well in the system twice before. So that's first and foremost a key thing. I think that's been a big theme for our signings so far. Obviously, Brendan Aronson, Rasmus Christensen, having worked under Jesse Marsch before as well. So it seems like a theme. It has been a shortened pre-season, of course. We are starting the season a week earlier than usual. It just means there's less time, in terms of to really implement Jesse Marsch's ideas. So it's going to be easier to have players that have worked under Jesse Marsch before. No doubt about that at all. So yeah, that's something that I'm happy with too. The fact that he's played across Europe, played in America, played for his national team. He's had a lot of experience for someone who's only 23. He's played in the Champions League. He's played at top-level football. Again, he's one of USA's key players going into this World Cup, like Brendan Aronson. Again, playing in midfield with Brendan Aronson. A lot to like about this signing. But I think the key thing I like about this signing is the fact that it looks like we're going to play a double pivot, no matter what system we play, whether it's going to be a 4-2-2-2, a 4-2-3-1. It looks like no matter what, we're going to have a two in midfield protecting the back four or the back three, whichever system we play. It seems to be a constant theme of a Jesse Marsch system. To me, it feels like it's going to be Tyler Adams and Marc Roca, unless we bring in another midfielder as well. That's going to be in the midfield too. And I think they're really well suited to playing alongside each other. The fact they both come from the Bundesliga, they're both used to the high intensity of the Bundesliga, I think it's going to translate well into the Premier League for me. I think Marc Roca's weaknesses are more off the ball in terms of recovering back into position on the counter when we lose the ball or turn the ball over. That's, for me, is Marc Roca's weaknesses. But that's Tyler Adams' strength, if that makes sense. I think Tyler Adams is brilliant at getting up and down the pitch, high intensity, really, really good pressure of the ball, will support that press in terms of the likes of Brendan Aronson, Patrick Bamford, Jack Harrison. He will support them really, really well, Tyler Adams, and that's the key thing. It can't just be one or two players pressing, the whole team needs to press forward. And I think Tyler Adams is very well suited to that. Marc Roca maybe less so, but I think when you've got a midfield two who complement each other well, i.e. one's got weaknesses, but the other's strengths can kind of cover those weaknesses. I think that's really good. I think on the ball, Tyler Adams isn't as good as what he is off the ball. Not to say he isn't good on the ball. I think just on the ball, he keeps things relatively simple. He doesn't really stand out in that kind of respect, but I don't really care about that because Marc Roca stands out in that respect. So I like the balance that we have in that midfield from what it looks like. Yes, maybe it's not the most aerially dominant midfield in terms of height, but I think it's a midfield that's going to be really well suited to a Jesse Marsch system and really well suited to Premier League football for me. And that's, for me, the key part of why I'm happy with this signing. Now, there's one or two things. Listen, there's one or two things. There's no hiding from the fact that since Jesse Marsch left Leipzig in December, he's not played a lot of football, Tyler Adams. He's played, I think, over the whole of last season, he started 12 games and came off the bench 12 times. So 24 games in total, which is a lot. And then again, yes, we've had the same kind of thing with Marc Roca. But I think the thing is with Marc Roca, he's playing in a Bayern Munich midfield full of world-class players. With Leipzig, I think that's a bit less of the case. So maybe, and for me, it's just a case of one manager likes Tyler Adams, the other didn't like Tyler Adams. I think it's Dominic Tedesco who took over from Jesse Marsch. He didn't really play Tyler Adams as much. Whatever the reason for that is, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate the reason for that. It's just something I want to point out because obviously, maybe with less successful signings over the last couple of years, that has been the case. I've not played a lot of football before coming to Leeds. So it's a little thing to mention, but I don't think that's going to affect Tyler Adams' match sharpness, because certainly from watching the US national team to get an idea of Brendan Aronson, of course, you noticed Tyler Adams in midfield as well. And there was no question for me, his intensity was fine. It's just something that I want to mention. I like to have balance on the videos. The fee, of course, of 20 million is something we don't normally pay for a midfielder. But for me, what I will say about that, I've seen 1-2 mentions that it's expensive. Admittedly, 20 million is a lot for any team, I think, outside that top 6 for a midfielder. But if Tyler Adams does a job, it really doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, at this level, to improve, I don't want to say money's everything. It isn't everything. But sometimes you have got to pay higher fees to increase the quality. Is Tyler Adams a direct KP replacement? The simple answer is no. He's not a direct KP replacement. But Tyler Adams and Mark Rocker in the field can replicate what KP offered Leeds. Mark Rocker on the ball, Tyler Adams off the ball. And if anything, I'd probably argue that Mark Rocker is probably stronger on the ball than what KP was, to be totally honest with you. And that might be a very, very unpopular take. I'm not going to say Mark Rocker is as good off the ball as Calvin Phillips, but he isn't. But in terms of what Tyler Adams can do off the ball, it's very similar to what KP does. So if that kind of makes sense, we kind of try to replace KP with 2 players. And let's not hide from the fact that KP's a very, very good player. So it's not very easy to replace him like for like. And I think we've done the right thing there, not trying to replace him like for like. They've brought in players more suited to the system. So it's a very interesting one in that kind of respect. So there's a couple of things I wanted to go across there. All round, is Tyler Adams an improvement on this Leeds United midfield? Yes, he is for me. I've no real doubt about that. I think he is definitely an improvement on our current options. Not that our current options aren't good. I just think he offers a bit more of a, you know exactly what you're getting from Tyler Adams. You're getting to get someone who's going to play box to box, full of energy, going to keep the ball. Look, his pass completion rate at Leipzig, 89% in the Europa League, 87.1% in the Bundesliga. That is something that's been a bit of an Achilles heel for Leeds in midfield in the last couple of years. Outside of KP, we've given the ball away quite cheaply in midfield. Now with Mark Rocker, I think Mark Rocker is better on the ball than Tyler Adams, but Tyler Adams is no bad technical player at all. He keeps the ball really, really well, as shown by his stats. Has a high pass count, all these different bits and pieces. He likes to get on the ball as well. But I do think his main strength for this Leeds midfield will be off the ball to help Mark Rocker. And I think as a two, it's going to work really, really well. And the fact that one's right-footed, the one's left-footed, again, I like it. I do like that. Look at that midfield. It's exactly what I was hoping for. If KP did leave, I didn't want KP to leave, by the way. I kind of started my sentence badly. But if he did leave, that was kind of what I was hoping we'd try and do to kind of replace his influence in this team. Because you can't replace it with one player. You can't replace it with one player. You've got to try and go down the route of someone who can do what KP can do off the ball and someone that can do what KP can do on the ball. And that's what I've done with these midfield signings. Yes, I've spoken a lot about Mark Rocker in this video, but it's difficult to not talk about Mark Rocker in the context of signing Tyler Adams, because I think he's been signed to complement Mark Rocker more than anything. So yeah, that's kind of my take on things really in terms of Tyler Adams. I'm happy with this signing. I'll be interested to see what you guys think of this signing. Of course, Kamara from Salzburg was also linked. Will we get Kamara as well? I don't know. Again, it sounded like at one point Kamara looked like he was more likely than Tyler Adams. So it's a bit of a surprise from where we were like this time last week. But again, I'm happy with this signing. No doubt about it. You've got that link between Adams and Aronson in midfield. The fact that Adams can play, I don't know if I mentioned this yet actually, I probably have mentioned it, but the fact that Adams can play right back and left back as well, so he's versatile. Again, it's key to have that versatility. We know Luke Ayling has got an injury. It's going to probably keep him out for a couple of months. I think, what was it, about 4 months I think it's going to keep him out for. That was back in May, so you're probably looking at September. It's handy to have someone who can fill in various different roles and offer that bit of versatility, especially with Stuart Dallas out as well. I think this signing makes a lot of sense, and I'm very happy with this signing. The fee doesn't bother me too much, because as long as Tyler Adams brings to this Leeds United midfield what we need, that is the main thing. It's a bit like a Conor Gallagher signing this, I feel. Will he be as good as Conor Gallagher? I'm not going to say that either way, because it's big shoes to fill in terms of what Conor Gallagher did at Palace. But you saw the improvement in that Palace midfield last season, bringing in the Conor Gallagher to help the more technical players in that midfield. It worked really well for Palace. I think it'll work really well for us too. Let us know, guys, in the comments down below your thoughts on Tyler Adams. But that's been my thoughts. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't done already. Check out Scott's video and hit that subscribe button too. It'd be a massive help to us, guys. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Anyway, that has been my reaction to signing Mr. Tyler Adams.